In 2019, I sold my 8-figure marketing analytics agency to Dentsu, the world's 4th largest media conglomerate. I'm grateful for the life-changing event and the financial freedom it brought, but things haven't always worked out this well for me. In 1990, I hit rock bottom. Despite having a degree in electrical engineering, I was working as a dishwasher in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was lost and broke and thought I would never achieve anything. It wasn't until I realized 5 things that everything changed for me. This is how I went from a directionless dishwasher to the CEO of an 8-figure business, selling it and achieving the dream life for myself and my family. My first realization was how we waste our lives spending them around average people. During high school, my closest friends and I were the class clowns. I spent my early college days doing the bare minimum of academic work, goofing around at the Sigma Nu fraternity, and dishwashing to have a little spending money. That was until the summer of my sophomore year when I reconnected with the class clowns, except that it wasn't funny this time. Their character had changed completely, and they had begun taking life seriously. At first, this drastic change shook me. I was now the only person in the group who wasn't working toward a goal, and I felt like an idiot. After spending every day with them that summer, I felt like I had to take life seriously. So I decided to work on achieving big things as well. From that point, everything shifted. Even though I was still doing the exact same mundane jobs, I felt a strange sense of determination and even pride. So if you're feeling stuck, look at who you surround yourself with. Spend time with people who have qualities and aspirations that you can emulate, especially individuals who care about you enough to call you out and keep you in check when you're drifting into the wrong lane. Find people at work, through a new hobby, or in your local community or religious organization. This brings me to my second point. Everyone tells you the opposite, but a hill I'm willing to die on is don't be afraid of commitment. Up until this point in my life, I had never really committed to anyone or anything. I used to get super excited about the ideas I had. I would start working on them, but if I didn't make much progress quickly, I would get bored and quit. After spending the summer with my friends, I realized I had wasted enough time in my life. I wanted to commit to something larger than myself, something I couldn't quit. I decided to start seriously looking for the future love of my life. Soon enough, I found her and we got married in the fall semester of my junior year. Marriage was life-changing. It created an enormous sense of responsibility for me. Even washing dishes had a purpose now. I was happy and felt very fulfilled. Many people are scared to commit, but if I were to do it all again, I wouldn't hesitate a second to take on even more commitments at a young age. My wife and I have been happily married for 37 years and have raised 3 children. Whatever you can commit to in your life will strengthen you and bring you closer to your goals. Why don't you start committing by subscribing to this channel? The third point is a counterintuitive one and pretty painful when it happens. But if you want success, you need to understand this. You must be willing to reset and go 2 steps back to go 10 steps forward. The path to your dream life isn't linear. I thought graduating with an engineering degree would put the world at my fingertips. I was thrilled to finally start my career, but the following years were some of the most painful of my life. I spent months job hunting and only got 1 interview, and even that did not go anywhere. I was devastated and felt lost again. And the clock was ticking. By now, our family had grown to 4, my wife and I, along with 2 children. I decided if I couldn't find a job in my field, I should do something on my own. With some investment from 2 dear friends, I bought a tiny restaurant and gave up on the whole engineering thing. Running a restaurant is not a small feat. The labor and long hours took a physical toll on me, but the mental burden was heavier. After years of engineering, I was back washing dishes and taking orders. I was embarrassed in front of my family, especially my in-laws. But it didn't matter. I was providing for my family, so I worked hard. The lessons I learned from running that restaurant were applied years later when I was the CEO of my 8-figure business. So don't give up when you fail in the first, second, or 10th trial. 5 months into running the restaurant with my wife and me cooking and cleaning, barely making ends meet and exhausted, I finally saw a flicker of hope. Out of nowhere, I received a call from another dear friend about an engineering job in Florida. I scraped together enough money for the airplane ticket to get to the interview, and I was shocked when I got an offer. I immediately accepted it. After 6 long years in a deep rut, I finally had the dream job that paid well. I could finally take 10 steps forward. This brings me to the 4th point. Never tolerate mediocrity. Working as an engineer was a huge step up for me, but the position wasn't what I expected. So I became disengaged and honestly pretty lazy. I was underperforming and flying below the radar until one day when the company had a massive layoff. Over half the employees were let go in a single day. I was spared, but I saw my close friends pack and leave with teary eyes. This sure was a wake-up call for me. I knew that if I didn't shape up, I'd probably be washing dishes again. But I needed to do work that was more interesting to me. I couldn't fake my way to enthusiasm and achievement. I needed to change roles. So I mustered all the courage I had and spoke with the CEO, who graciously agreed to give me a more people-oriented role. I felt I was better suited for it, even though I had no real experience in this area. My many years of working with customers at the restaurant or making people laugh as a class clown were somehow all preparation for this role. Changing career paths within the company showed me that my real interest was in client service and the people side of the business. I was able to push myself and excel at the new job. I added value to the business. I eventually got a master's degree in management and was getting promotions left and right until I became a director. Don't get too comfortable, take calculated risks, and move forward. Let me now turn to the 5th point. Work hard no matter what, even if you don't exactly get what you want every time. After Florida, I moved to a promising and well-funded telecom startup in the heart of Silicon Valley. It was going to be the next Cisco for the telecom industry. I negotiated a fantastic salary with stock options. However, that came with long hours and 6 to 7 days of work each week. I wasn't afraid of hard work. I would even occasionally sleep in the office. I hired 50 people in 3 months and was soon promoted to vice president. But sadly, we did not get traction. So in the spring of 2003, I and half of the staff were laid off. And soon enough, the whole startup folded. But working hard meant that I'd built some strong muscle that I could put to use again. Instead of sitting at home licking my wounds, I gathered my strength and set out with a friend to start a business. The beginning years were more difficult than anything I had experienced. After 16 more years of grueling work and 3 pivots, the business was acquired for 8 figures in 2019. If I went from dishwasher to financial freedom, you can too. If you're watching this, you're already pushing yourself to learn, grow, and find the right people. If you want to reach your dream life faster, click here to learn how you can avoid my biggest mistake after starting 7 businesses. See you next time.